Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode we saw Spain fall apart, a bit of a bandit problem here in blue, but most importantly a war between Germany and Cyan, which I will be calling the Northern War. We also saw our first military alliance between red, blue, and India, and our first economic alliance between purple and red. So if you missed that episode, make sure to go watch it because we're starting this episode right now. Quick side note before we start, the software that I used kind of broke and I lost all of my progress on the exploration, so this might not be exact, but it's close enough. But we're going to be starting in Asia this episode. India is going to fund major exploration all around, and it isn't just government officials going to explore and stuff, it's also civilians going out exploring and bringing back their findings. Whether they were being paid or not, they know that it will help India and their country so that way they can become stronger and more powerful. It also means that they can get more food, so they're kind of doing this out of happiness, you know? The government officials will start moving up the Indian coast, and when I say government officials, I mean official explorers of the government, I guess, if that makes sense. Soon, exploration picks up, and they make it all the way into Thailand. Someone is also going to explore this because I hate that little hole right there. And the civilians are going to explore up north, and that actually pretty much fully fills in the Indian peninsula. We see several search parties, one going out from here, one going out from here, and another one going out from here. This one's from green, right here, this one. This one's going to go straight up north, this one's going to start going east, and this one will also start going east, but a little bit south. And then these guys here are going to run into something really bad. I think it was kind of obvious, but the Himalayas. They're going to have to stop exploration here, and they're just going to go around the Himalayas, and they're going to run into this group. These guys are going to explore all down here. The red is the line of the Himalayas, and then up here in the orange is just like the Himalayas, but like less. They're going to explore the rest up here all the way that they can, all the way up to the Himalayas, and they're going to have to stop here. But they'll go around west and over here. These guys are going to continue exploring east. Exploration is complete inside of India. India is completely explored, and they're going to make it all the way over here to the end of the Himalayas, and they're going to go around it. These guys are going to make it up into these hills, and they're going to actually end up exploring them. They're going to explore all around and start exploring north of the Himalayas. The only problem is a lot of people over here died, and they're actually going to stop exploration over here and go back into India. These guys are also going to start dwindling out, not because they're dying, but just because some people are getting tired and are going back. Now, exploration around the Himalayas is at a complete halt, and we're going to see a little bit more exploration around here, and they're going to make it into China, down into this peninsula, and onto this island. They're going to go around up here, and eventually they will make it into the Korean peninsula, and they will stop there. Blue is going to continue exploring down south here. This is absolutely nothing like what India was doing, and they're just sending a bit of explorers down here. And they're going to fill in around the horn a little bit. They're going to explore down south, and this is nothing like what India was doing, and they're just going to explore around here a little bit and fill in a bit of an area. Now the world is looking a lot more explored. We're also going to see a bit of exploration by purple up here, but nothing much. Just around here and above the Caucasian area. And just by the way, maroon and dark blue and a little bit of lime is kind of just like Mountain Dews, you know? Speaking of lime, they haven't had a trade route in a long time because of how unsafe it is, and they're kind of dying out over here, but not actually dying out. But they just fixed the problem, just now. So that's kind of safe there now. Going back into Asia, we're going to see a few big updates. Our first update is India is now in Sri Lanka. Nothing too big about this, but what is big for India, and this is what all of the new major cities and major military bases look like, and this is what it looks like with the provinces. Now about this big cluster of major cities and provinces right over here, this is kind of like New York City, each province here is a borough. But anyway, here are the trade routes, and right now Sri Lanka is just being used as a fertile farmland. There's going to be major cities here later, but for now it's just farms. We also see a new country form over here in Vietnam, and this is its trade routes, major military bases, major cities, capital, and its provinces. We're also going to see France and this new colony that broke away explore the rest of England, and a lot of Ireland. With that, we're also going to see this new colony expand, and then once they fall apart, they're going to look like this. After seeing this happen, they're going to try their hardest to try and get everyone back together, but they're ultimately going to fail. Well, would you look at that? The rest of Ireland was explored. 7 foot frame, right so long his back. When he calls your name, it all turns to black. We also see a new settlement over here in Norway. And trade route wise over here, it's looking pretty nice, and we have a giant North Sea trade route going through the water. And this trade route here was finished. And there's a new trade route between Morocco and Purple. Cyan will resolve this bandit problem. And regarding the Northern War, which I know you guys are excited for, it's happening right now. Really, it's been happening the entire episode, but I'm only going to pick up on it now because now is when it's important for me to start talking about it. I'm going to start from the very beginning of what happened though. So in the last episode, we saw Cyan send their declaration of war into Germany, and now they are officially at war. Purple has stated their neutrality in this war, and they will not participate on Cyan or Germany's side. Cyan has been moving their troops up north, and they're going to be taking a break or hiding over here at the Himalayas. Germany will go down south, sending their army, and after a long time, they kind of look like this. So during this entire episode, Germany was heading down here, and Cyan was waiting over here by the Alps. I might have said Himalayas before, I meant Alps. We're going to see Germany scooch down here and start approaching Cyan's border. And just like that, they're going to reach Cyan's border and go down here and grab this major city. And they'll use this as kind of like a waiting point, but they're going to start going towards the capital. But now, this is where this army comes into the plan. You might be thinking, why is this army just waiting over here by the Alps and not doing anything about this? That's because they're doing this right now. The army over here is completely cut off of all of their resources coming from Germany, and Cyan will chase them all the way down. They're going to make it all the way over to here, and they're going to start working on taking back their land. They're going to push around here and make it so they're completely inside, and they're going to start working on getting rid of their spearhead. They're going to go right over here and take back this major city. But these guys are able to retake it and actually retake a lot of land that they lost and a little bit more. And they reach the border again. And they're going to continue their spearhead down here. And why is Cyan just losing so much all of a sudden? That's because this is happening. Germany spread out their forces, and it made it a lot easier for them to defend off of Cyan's army, to make it back over here to get connection with their troops again, which they are able to do. And now they have a connection, and these guys are able to be supplied, which causes the spearhead to be even more successful. And right now, they are practically touching the capital. They're going to reach over here and grab this major city. And heading back over here, we're going to see that Cyan is going to try and push back on these guys a little bit. In this area here, it isn't successful, but where it is successful is up here. Cyan is able to push against this army, and they are going to have to find another route to connect here, and they're going to do this. And just like that, we're going to gain a new member inside of the Northern War. France. France, who is on Cyan's side, is going to reach into here and start attacking Germany. They're going to go down the countryside and burn up more farms because this is their hobby, I guess. The army just loves burning up farms. But in reality, they're actually going to go for this major city while also burning up farms. I wasn't lying. And the rest here is cut off, so it's kind of just taken. But their main goal was to get up here so that way they can fight the army. One thing that Germany doesn't know that France knows is that all of their supplies for their army that they are sending down here is right in this major city. How do they know that? Norway told them. Norway, who had just recently formed right before we hopped into the war, knew that all of their military and food supplies were right over here. And these guys all decided to go up here into Norway because they knew what was happening over here. It was after the declaration of war had been sent, and they also didn't really want to be a part of it. So to try and end the war as fast as possible, they told France about all of the supplies. And they're getting really, really close. But that's until they get pushed back over here, and that's because Germany just got some new supplies from the one and only Spain. Spain is secretly funding and sending supplies into Germany, and they are now able to push back against France, pushing them all the way back to this major city, and they're able to remove them from here and take back this major city. They're going to split these guys in two, and they're going to be able to go around here a little bit secretive, they don't know about that. But in the meantime, they will get rid of all of this army here, and a little bit down there. France is going to start pushing up towards the capital instead, but they're going to have to quickly pull their troops out of here because now they're being threatened. Down here, they've gotten pushed all the way back to their border, and now they are being attacked. One major city is taken, followed by another, and then this farmland over here. They're going to go down towards this major city and then have a second operation going down the coastline. Back over here, Cyan has pushed them all the way back into this major city, and they're fighting to take it back right now, which they win, and they push them all the way out of their country. Right now, Cyan's army is a little bit scattered, so they're all going to gather together and fix this up. They're mainly working on getting rid of this army here because they're trying to go and attack Germany, and they're going to start working at this. And this one goes very successful, actually, as they're able to push them all the way back to here. Up here in France, this major city is going to get captured, and so will all of this land here. But soon they're going to pull themselves out of this major city and out of most of the land over here, keeping only 2 major cities for themselves here. And that's because Cyan has made a sweeping campaign all the way up through here and is now threatening their border, but they haven't actually touched it yet. With the sudden need to pull their army back so far, France is going to be able to win back these major cities and are able to meet Germany at the border again. A small group of an army from France is going to go down south around Germany, and they're going to go to the front line here to let some major generals know everything that they need to know about trying to attack Germany, aka where all of the supplies are. We're going to see Germany push back on the southern side all the way back to here, but that's because Cyan's pushing in on the east side, and they reach this major city and reach up for this one. Germany is going to surrender for another time, and now we're going to look at this peace treaty. This peace treaty is pretty simple. France will get some southern parts. Even though they did attack up here, they still want these parts because it's fertile farmland. And Cyan will get this small area here, but we're going to see them do something with this. They're going to turn this into a puppet state and expand it a little bit further east. The only reason for that is because they don't want to maintain their own land all the way up north here. This isn't really their own land, though. Still, it's just a puppet state, though. And the final part of the peace treaty is that Germany has to give their findings back to Cyan. We're now going to move out of Europe and go into Arabia. Holy moly guacamole. This is a lot of new land here. And if we turn on the provinces, we can also see, like, the original land. So blue got some land down here. Blue got some land down here. Red got all of this. And purple expanded all the way out to here. And yes, the problem with Mesopotamia is now fixed. Don't worry, guys. Another thing that we're going to see here is pink, or what did I call it? The Nile. The Nile expands all the way over to here. This is like Jordan, northern Israel, maybe Lebanon. But now we have this giant unfilled in spot, which is going to look like this. And I am not excited to draw these new provinces. Okay, let's go. This is what Arabia looks like fully filled in. The Nile expanded into like Jordan and Israel and Sinai Peninsula area. There's this new country which I'll talk about soon. Pink expanded all the way into the Mediterranean Sea. Red expanded all the way through this. And blue got a little bit of land up north. Province-wise, it looks like this. Over here we can see the new provinces. There's all these big provinces, but that's because this is just desert. Like, you know, we have stuff here, here. And then you can kind of see the Euphrates and Tigris outline. Major city stuff, major military bases. And if you haven't already noticed, blue is kind of like a neutral country. They barely have any military bases. You can actually kind of still see the outline of what red used to look like. These, like, lime yellow guys, these guys, they all came from England. So, like, all these countries and Norway, they all came from here and settled over here inside of this place, whatever this is called. Iraq, I think. Iraq's here. But we're going to move out of Arabia and go right next to Arabia. And we're going to see a familiar face return. Would you look at that? It's our good old friend, the bandits. The bandits are back in green. Green has been trying to resolve their problem with the bandits on the trade routes. And as you can see, every spot where there's the trade route bandits is where these guys are. Green is going to work hard to get rid of these bandits. And if I'd have to guess, the easiest place to get rid of these guys is down here on these southern ones. And the hardest ones are up here. And apparently Green has the exact same mindset because they're going to do just that. They're going to start off by going into here. Just for quick reference, these guys' capital is right here. But Green is going to hurry up and quickly grab into this major city, and they're going to pretty much just fall after that. The rest of these guys over here are not that strong. And their next target are these guys because they're right next to the capital. And they kind of just block them off. That's their main goal. And then they're going to go on this side and block them off from this major city. But that's all they're going to do before they start getting pushed back. And they're going to go down south here. But they're going to eventually fall. Heading back over here, they're going to go down this way because it's heavily guarded right along here. So they're going to go down here and encircle them, and then they're going to be able to push them back just a little bit on this eastern side. They're going to take the rest of this western part and then take over the rest of here. These bandits are going to work to get rid of all these plots. They're going to go right here, grab this major city, and then they're going to work on connecting all of these spots. And it looks a little bit like this, and this area is going to fall over to them. They're also going to reach up here for this major city, which they're going to be able to grab successfully, and then they're going to circle around, and just there's no one there, so. But now it's Green's turn to go and fight. They're going to start over here and push back and try and grab back this major city, and they're going to try their hardest, and they will be able to do it, and that's kind of the fault of this army over here. And then they're going to start pushing in. They're going to reach in here and start attacking, and they're really just going to go down the trade route mostly, but they're still going to reach in. They're going to go down on the east side and on the west side, and then they're going to make a sweeping campaign through the rest of this area. Green's going to start off by chasing these guys down, and then the rest are going to come in and just encircle them. These guys are going to pop up again over here and start to rebel. And just in case you were wondering, yes, these guys are the exact same people who rebelled over here. And just in case you were wondering, these guys are the exact same who were down here in blue. They're going to start pushing in up here in the northern part, and they're going to be able to take back this major city, and once again, that's the fall here. They're going to start pushing in again from over here, and they're going to go up north too, and they're going to take this major city, which is actually their capital, so that's bad. They're going to connect these two armies here, and they're going to split these guys in two, taking this northern half, and they're going to start working down here in this part down here. By the way, Green is much stronger than these rebellious guys, and they're going to push through here, and they're going to aim for this area, and they're going to liberate a lot here, and they're going to push in and, well, really probably just take all this because it's just farm, and they're going to try their hardest not to siege anything because it's their, like, cities and stuff, but they're going to push up here, and they're going to be met at the border here, and this is their only city left, and they're going to siege it, not siege it, but, like, you know, grab it. And this is the fall because they've lost all their military, all of their stuff, and not all their military, but they've lost a lot of things, and Green is going to start pushing back into these guys and get rid of them. They're going to split them in two and take this northern half pretty easily, and it's kind of a hard fight down here, but with people going in from the west side, it's pretty much just a fall after that. And let's take a quick look at this peace treaty. Simple enough, they just get all their land back, but these guys aren't actually gone. And they are back once again in blue. But since blue is in a military alliance, this will trigger it. So red, blue, and India will all work together to get rid of these bandits. India also has this bandit problem. So now these bandits are back, and they were in green, and then they moved down into blue, and then into India. Blue and red are going to start by pushing into these guys from here, and they're going to go up north in this area and start pushing in. And this is like a mixture of red and blue troops, but they're going to cut down here and get rid of this area. We also are going to see these guys go down here and grab a major city. They're also going to go towards this way and grab two major cities, and then they're going to meet up and encircle a bunch of stuff here and take it all over. From here, they're going to scooch over here and take these two major cities, and that'll be a nice setup to grab this one. And just like that, they're already forming a spearhead threatening the capital. Up north, they're losing this war, but down south, they're winning. Red and blue makes a sweeping front all the way down here and takes over all this land in this major city, but Lime is able to take it back after just a little bit. Over here in India, they're going to kind of focus on themselves, and they're just going to grab this major city back and go up the coast to grab this one, and they're going to keep on working on that. The rebellious group is a little bit far from the capital, so what's the closest thing to a capital that's near them? The boroughs. They're going to jot down here and take this major city and continue their spearhead going towards it, and India sees exactly what they're trying to do. They're going to take this major city and then send a smaller army to go grab some others. There's a smaller one going here, grabbing this one, and then grabbing this one, and then they're going to go down here to grab this one, and encircle some stuff. I guess this is just civilians. They're also going to go up north here and grab this major city, and this is not looking good for them. Some other guys are going to go up north here and grab this major city, and what we see is not good for India. However, they're going to be able to keep on pushing up here, and they're going to grab this major city from them, and they're going to get a little bit of a fight back, but not enough to completely destroy their front line. But they are going to lose a major city again, but the rebellious group is able to grab back one major city, and sound the sirens because they just reached the bureaus. And sound the sirens because they just reached the bureaus. They grabbed all 7 They grabbed all 7 within just a few hours because of their close range, and then they're going to go down here and grab this major city and kind of fill in here and do a sweeping attack down, grabbing 1 major city. And this is when India really gets mad, and they're going to just, like, put all of their major generals into defending, and that does a lot of stuff. They get like this major city, and they completely separate these armies from their mainland. They take back a few major cities over here, and they are very close to getting back to the boroughs. They're going to make a small sweeping attack up here to grab back this major city, and they're going to get about halfway before they stop for just a little bit. This major city, who is just doing the exact same thing, is going to finally get taken over again, and they're going to go up north here to grab back this major city. And this far eastern major city is finally taken back, and they're going to continue up north towards the boroughs. They're very close when they take these 2 northern ones, which are definitely not the bigger ones, like, compared to these 5. And they're able to take back one of these 5, followed by another one, followed by another one, followed by one more, and the last bit of that army is killed. And let's go check in on blue to see how they're doing. Well, shoot. Their capital's taken, and there's a big encirclement happening over here. And they finally made it into red, and there's a big encirclement happening here. And they also start pushing back on these front lines, and they reach the border of red right here. And they decimate this army, and they're already pushing back once again. We're going to see a new member join this military alliance, and it will be none other than the Nile. The Nile has been growing pretty strong lately, and they're going to send a bunch of troops down here to help fight. With the new Nile troops, they're going to go down here and take back these major cities, and they're going to do a large encirclement of troops and kill them all off. They're going to go up to this northern part and continue their front line here. The next thing we're about to see is without the Nile's help, and it's probably one of the greatest military attacks yet. This encirclement here is fully encircled, and they have no Nile helping them. But what they do is this. They're going to push back over here, and they're able to take back this major city and use it as their major, like, port or whatever. And they're going to take back this major city, and now they have access to the sea. Which means that they can take back their capital, they can take back this major city, and then they can destroy the rest of the army over here. The army's going to have to pull out of red, and they're going to have to start pushing back in. They're going to take back this major city, but then red continues to send the troops, and they get pushed back almost all the way back to their border. Everyone is trying to dispose of these guys as fast as possible, and this northern territory is gone, and they attack in here, grabbing back all of these major cities as fast as they can, splitting them in 2, grabbing back these major cities on the Horn of Africa, and this island, and now all the troops here are gone. Heading back into India, who has been focusing on themselves and their own bandit problem, they have pushed into this major city and taken it back, and they're expanding, and they're going up north here to grab back this major city, which they do, and they're going to start going up on this northern border here, and they start an encirclement, which is completely successful, and they get rid of all these troops here. They're going to go down south and make a sweeping movement to take back all the land that they lost, and it is very, very successful because there's a bit of red troops in there. And just like that, these guys are gone once again. Of course, a really simple peace treaty is just everyone gets their land back. Red still doesn't ask of anything from anyone because of how good they are. The only other thing that we see is how the Nile leaves the military alliance, and instead they're going to join this Star Economic Alliance, and so will this Lime country. Another thing that we're going to see is the Circle Military Alliance. And the members that we see joining are Green, who's the founder, Dark Blue, and most notably Morocco, who's a little bit far away from all of them. The final alliance update is Cyan joining the Star Alliance, and this one's growing pretty fast. It already has 5 members, and then Blue and India are like this close, and then Blue and India are like really close to joining. Moving back into this region, we're going to see another war break out. I know, it's just so surprising. And who could have guessed that it was Lime against Maroon? Lime is going to start up a really good sneak attack, and they're going to go capture the capital. And then they're going to shoot down to this major city, and Maroon is going to ask for peace. This is kind of crazy. If I were you, Maroon, I would move your capital. Maroon kind of has their capital encircled. Luckily for them, they've gained a few major cities recently, and they're able to take their capital and move it out of this area. And they're going to move it down to their oldest major city, getting rid of this capital here. And honestly, at this point, they're just going to sell this area to Lime at some point. And that point is right now, because they are kind of almost out of money. They're like really close to being out of money. Like, really close to being out of money. But selling that really good city and land to Lime is going to help their economy a lot more. moving out of here, let's go check an update somewhere. Whoa, holy crap. Okay, so turns out expanding so fast into Arabia and then also funding so much inside of India in blue does not help with your citizens. These are a few major rebellions, one in Qatar, one in Yemen/Oman, one in the central Saudi Arabia, one in western Saudi Arabia, and one in Iraq/Iran. This is a big rebellion and Red's gonna have to get rid of it. But not in this episode because I'm gonna end the episode off here. And in this episode we saw exploration and a new country form inside of Asia, England collapsed, a new Norwegian settlement, the Northern War, Arabia got fully filled in, regrettably. Green had a bandit problem, followed by Blue and India's bandit problem. There was a new Norwegian country. The Northern War happened. Arabia was regretfully fully filled up. Green had a bandit problem. Blue and India had a bandit problem. We saw economic and military alliance updates. Lime and Maroon had a war. And then most notably, this happened. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys liked the episode. This was episode 5. Wow, we're 5 episodes in. We should be seeing episode 6 next Saturday. Sorry if it doesn't come out. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.